Have you ever thought, like, wouldn't it be amazing if you could just kind of step right into history instead
Mhm.
of, like, just reading about?
To really experience it.
That's exactly what we're going to be diving into today, actually.
Mhm.
So we can tell right away this is not just like your typical museum with, the dusty old relics behind the velvet ropes.
No, not at all. And it's really clear that they want to create something much more dynamic, almost like a technology innovation hub, but focused on the museum experience.
Yeah.
And they're really going all in on this idea of immersive experiences. Like we're
Yeah.
talking augmented reality, virtual reality, AI, all woven together.
And what's so cool is it's not just about like the flashy tech, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's really about using that tech to unlock like a deeper level of understanding to let visitors actually engage with history.
Absolutely. They'll connect to this intelligent back-end system that knows about all the museum's assets, their relationships, their cultural impact, how themes intersect.
Ah, so the connections become richer, more complex.
Exactly. It's about creating what they call compelling, continuing, curiosity-driven exploration. How different artifacts connect, the wider cultural impact of an event, links between themes you might not expect, pathways to dig deeper into related info.
Hmm.
Interrelated stories are about the outward connections. How does this specific story, like the Chinese railroad workers, connect to the bigger picture?
Oh,
So their experience wasn't in a vacuum, right? It was deeply tied into huge things like American westward expansion, waves of integration, the rise of industrial power. Their story is a thread in that much larger historical fabric. And building it on platforms like ServiceNow and ArcGIS is also about future-proofing.
it's about connecting the physical object right in front of you with this whole universe of digital stories and data, letting you kind of chart your own path through it.
Exactly.
So to kind of illustrate this, I think let's focus on one really compelling example that kept popping up, and that is the story of the Chinese railroad workers and, the building of the Transcontinental Railroad, which
Right.
we know a lot of that comes from the book Ghosts of Gold Mountain, right?
Right.
And it all starts with this, seemingly simple object, this railroad spike,
Yeah.
right?
That's right. An artifact isn't just an object, it's a portal. Imagine you walk into the exhibit and there's a real railroad spike, probably held by a Chinese worker over a century ago, just sitting there.
Yeah.
But then they're talking about using augmented reality, maybe even these really advanced headsets, where you put it on and suddenly that spike is overlaid with the sights and sounds of the workers who actually laid those tracks.
Wow.
Maybe even glimpses into the conditions they face. It means the stories connect the themes the curators have set up, but the trigger is your interaction.
Mm. So once you've had that kind of initial immersive moment, how does the visitor kind of navigate the rest of the exhibit?
Well, that's where the really cool back-end framework comes into play, because it's not just a series of isolated AR encounters.
Okay, but managing all this, the artifacts, the digital models, the stories, the themes, the connections, it sounds overwhelming. This is where ServiceNow and ArcGIS really come into their own on the back end.
Absolutely essential. It becomes this really smart guide by dynamically pulling together relevant information and creating smooth transitions between topics.
That sounds incredibly powerful, almost like having a personal curator with you.
It's a network.
And the museum experience would let you navigate that network based on what interests you, follow different threads.
That's the core idea. So after that encounter with the spike, maybe the system then gives you different avenues to explore. Maybe you're really drawn to the backbreaking labor involved. Maybe you're more interested in the cultural backgrounds and traditions of these workers. It's really up to you.
So it's not like a prescribed path. Your own curiosity kind of drives the experience.
Exactly. GIS can layer that geographical information onto the experience.
Ah, so you get a sense of the environment they were working in.
Precisely. Visualize the immense geographic challenges or see where the Chinatowns emerged, all of that.
Wow.
So you're not just learning, you're really getting a sense of place and time. Well, this is where it becomes clear that this museum is really like a technology innovation hub. The core of this whole dynamic experience is the integration of some really powerful platforms, specifically ServiceNow and Esri's ArcGIS, with some pretty sophisticated AI capabilities woven throughout.
Now, ServiceNow, isn't that typically used for like business IT management?
It is, yeah, but in this case, they're using it in a really innovative way. They're leveraging its configuration management database, or CMDB.
Okay.
Think of it as like a comprehensive map of all the museum's information, and not just the physical artifacts, but digitized documents, excerpts from things like Ghosts of Gold Mountain, oral histories, and then all the connections between those elements. You're navigating what they call a rich web of themes and sub-themes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
think of it
Yeah.
like exploring a huge mind map, maybe.
Okay, so the back end is as high tech as the front end experience.
Model context protocol. What's that bridge?
Yeah, MCP. Think of it as the translator of the pipeline. It's the tech that lets the AR app dynamically pull all that rich data from ServiceNow or potentially other systems in real time.
Gotcha. So the AR app always has the latest info from the museum's database.
That's the goal. Keeps the experience current. So the system isn't just showing you isolated facts, it actually understands how everything relates.
Exactly. And this is where the curatorial expertise comes in. They are painstakingly inputting data, defining all these connections. And once that foundational work is done, the system can then intelligently surface the right links based on what you're interacting with. The location of an artifact, the themes it relates to, the individual stories it tells, it's all connected.
That's amazing.
The idea is AI services will link what you're looking at to related themes you might not have thought of.
How do they plan to ensure that the AI is providing reliable information?
Ensuring museum rigor talks about using ServiceNow to manage this whole process.
Wow, so it's a super sophisticated and thoughtful system
Mhm.
where the technology is really being used to amplify that curatorial expertise, not replace it.
Exactly. The curator set the stage, but you choose the journey. And the ambition isn't just for this one prototype, this one story.
Oh, not at all. The long-term vision is much bigger. It's about using this powerful back-end system and AR for much broader cultural preservation and education.
So expanding it.
Yeah, the goal is to eventually apply this framework to other major themes within the museum, maybe even collaborate with other museums or cultural institutions down the line.
It's interesting.
It really signals a potential future direction, doesn't it? A real push for innovation in how we experience these places. So for you, our listener, the takeaway here is that this isn't just a museum that's going to have cool gadgets.
Right.
It's a fundamentally new kind of museum, you know? It's this technology innovation hub where the exhibits are almost like living, breathing things. They're interconnected. They respond to your curiosity.
Exactly. It's not a passive experience. It's an active exploration.
We'll definitely be keeping an eye on this project and seeing where it leads.
Absolutely.
So that's it for our deep dive. Until next time.